Welcome everybody. This is Edwin, the Magic Engineer, and this is my first live stream. Oh my gosh. Okay, my family's joking with me. Come here, Stu. Come here, Stu. So my family sent the dog in, and he's got a note. I don't know, can you guys read the note? What does the note say? Come here, Stu. Oh, here, it says it at the top. This is my daughter being funny. I am your adorable master. Give me a shout out, thanks. Evil Lord Stu. Okay, that's my dog Stuart. I don't know if you guys can see that. Maybe that's too bright. Okay, there we go. It focused in a little bit. So that's my daughter being funny. Okay, thanks, Stu. Wave goodbye to everybody. Okay, so sorry. So I'm Edwin, and this is my first official live stream, and I wanted to do something fun for you guys. And so one of the guys who's a subscriber in my actual channel, he actually made something for me, and he sent it to me, and it's in this box. And so I've also got a letter with details about it for what I'm going to reveal. It's from Nicola Pelos, and he's actually he's from Trieste, an Italian city in northeast on the border of Slovenia. He's 35, and he actually has a business making the things, or he's setting up a business, I should say, making the things that are in that box. And we chatted back and forth, and he was just really nice about it and just made one just to give to me. And it took a little bit to get over here, and he had to make it, and he asked me what materials I wanted and stuff. And so I've been waiting to open it up. I've never seen this thing in person yet. I saw a picture a while ago, but I've never seen it in person yet. So I'll give more details about it after I open it up. So why don't we dig into that, since that's kind of one of the feature things. And notice I'm kind of holding the label side away, because I don't know if he's cool with everyone having his address and everything like that yet. So, okay, let's see what's in this box. He was worried about humidity and stuff like that as well. Oh my gosh, it's got sawdust in there. There's actual sawdust. I'm gonna have to make sure I get this in the right spot. Give me a sec, I gotta get a container. Okay, because this is gonna make a mess. Okay, oh, I see it already right there on the top. Okay, so can you guys see what that is? Can you see what it is? It is a mysterious package that is still a little opaque and you can't quite tell yet. Let's keep opening. Okay, I'm excited about this. Hey, Brandon Rose, oh my gosh. Brandon, you were the coolest kid when you were this little kid, and we used to play Magic with your dad back in college. Glad to see you on here. And we got Paul Mueller on there too. How's it going, Paul? Okay, so you guys got any guesses yet? See this cool bag? What do you think it is, huh? Anyone have any guesses down there in the chat stream? I'm gonna have to wait a second because there's a little bit of delay. Oh, and see, my daughter's on the stream now too. So let me scroll up here and let's see. We have Social Justice Goblin MTG also. How's it going, Maggie? Good to see you. And we got Nick on there. And oh, hey, Nicola's on there. When you guys see Nicola Pelos in the chat stream, that's the guy who made this. Tell him what you think about it. Okay, let's see. Paul Mueller says, okay, Dylan says deck box. Yep, there you go. Dylan nailed it. It is a deck box. So let's open this sucker up. And notice there's these nice leather straps. Wow, good job, Nicola. That is cool. So I'll give more details about what his business is but after you guys see this. And again, I've never seen this yet either. Okay. Whoa, look at that. Now that is a cool deck box. See the little hinges there in the back? And see it's got the nice cutaway there. Oh yeah. So this is a deck box, and it's made out of, let's see, he put it here in the letter. It's made out of cherry, walnut, zebra wood, wenge. I didn't know that was a wood type. And purple heart. Oh, I thought that was just a metal that people got. And let's see, let's open this thing up. Wow, that is nice. It just kind of opens right up. Oh my gosh, the magnet's in it. Yeah, he said in his letter it has 6 neodymium magnets inside. And this little tray just rolls out like that. That is cool. And then if you guys want to see inside there. Okay, that looks pretty nice. I am impressed. I can see the magnets. They're right there on that top edge. And then the other ones are right down here. If you can see them. That is nice. That is really nice. Okay, I'm going to have to pull out one of my decks and put it inside there. So that's what the surprise actually is. Now I'll give you some guys more details about it. So this was, let's see, Mishra's Workshop is the name of his page that he's going to be selling some of these deck boxes on. And he used 600 grit sandpaper to finish it off and natural oil to give it this nice finish. And I can tell you it feels really nice. It looks really nice and there's no smell to it. And I guess the prices are between €75 all the way up to €150, depending on, like, I guess the features and the wood type and stuff like that. So yeah, say hi to Nicola, everyone, if you like the actual content. So that's the reveal of the thing that I wanted to show. Now I'm curious to actually see what you guys want to talk about, because this is my first actual live stream, and I figured you guys might have some interesting questions or something. I'm hoping to see where everybody wants to go with it. Let me get caught up here in the comments a little bit. Okay, well, it looks like there's a lot. I missed some of the comments. I'm down a little bit. Discount days. This is why I need someone here, like, actually helping me stay up to speed on what's actually going on. Packing peanuts. Paul Mueller came in. It's a basalt monolith, Paul says. The packing was very neat. I agree. And Dan, of course, is still stuck on Shahrazad. He's very stuck on that. So JJ said, Edwin the Magic Engineer, talk about Daniel missing the market on Shahrazad. Okay, there's one topic. And have I been brewing any old school decks recently? Chris says. And am I up for Q&A? Yeah, I'm up for Q&A. Go ahead and put your questions in there, guys. And my daughter says, talk about your cute kitty. We have a cat. She's a nightmare. She claws everything. But okay, she's a nice cat. And my daughter's going to yell about it. Okay, the Shahrazad thing. Let's start with that. You know what's funny is, like, all I've done so far on Shahrazad is I've made an Instagram post on it, and actually I've got a copy over here. This card. So for the people like my aunt that aren't familiar with it, this is an old card made 25 years ago. I actually saw somebody play that card in a deck recently, and they did well. And so I got excited about it, and I got some of them and started play testing with it. I made a post on Instagram, and then I made a video, and now everyone's buzzing about it. And like I said, I think it's an unexplored card, and some people think they hate it, some people like it. There's all this like buzz about it, but all I've done so far is an Instagram post and a video about it, and everyone's talking about it. So the long story short for Shah, I don't even know how to say it correctly, Shahrazad, is what I put in my Instagram post is exactly how I feel about it. It is a card that has a lot of fundamentals to go up in value because it is reserve list. They're very low print run because it's the same quantity as another card called Jazam Djinn. And it is fairly low mana to actually cast. It has a very powerful effect, and there's nothing else in the game that's actually like it. And there's been all this debate on whether or not it's a good card. And I looked at it and realized that this card, it was for a long time, it was basically banned from like all formats. And there was a short period of time where you could, and then it was like banned again. And I've never even like really thought about it very much because it's almost always been like a banned card. And so then when I saw someone not only played it, but actually won the Old School Players Ball, I was like, okay, I need to go look at this thing. And one reason why I did that is because if you guys have been following my channel, there's other cards that I use in my channel. And if you think about it, once I say this, you'll probably realize it's true. When I jumped into old school, the first thing I looked for is I wanted to see what is different about old school today than was there a while ago. Because I jumped in with the default assumption that the format a while ago was probably fairly well solved, but I knew that there was rule changes. I knew there was changes to the banned restricted list. So I figured that those things unto themselves probably shifted the meta around enough to where it made other things that didn't used to be good now good. The first thing I actually tried was a Berserk deck. And that's why I built that deck that had the 4 Berserks, because for most of the years when I was playing like Vintage, you couldn't do 4 Berserks. And then the next deck I went for one that had 4 Black Vices, because for an awful long time, you couldn't have 4 Black Vices. If you think about it, I was exploring the fringes of what I believe the old school format actually was. From that exact same theology, when a card pops in that has been banned for most of its life, and most people like me have just never even tried it, and everyone thinks they understand it, but then when you play it a little bit, it comes out a little bit different. So I looked at it and said, I want to explore this card. And then as I was looking at it, I realized that, you know, it was reserve list and rare and unique and fairly cheap to cast and all these points about it. So I made the Instagram post, and then people started buzzing like crazy about it. And then I realized that other people were as like unfamiliar with it as I was. So I was like, well, it's a rare card and there's a buzz about it. It's going to go up in value. And so then I started trying to build some decks and stuff with it. And for that video, and this is where Dan and I have been going back and forth, and this is what's pretty funny, is the actual deck that I put up. And when I post this video live, or when I post it online, I'll link the video that I posted. That was like really preliminary. I mean, I built one deck, tried it, and I liked how it worked against some things. Then I changed it, and I tried that a little bit, and I liked how that thing worked. And then I made my video, and I said right in my video at 13 minutes, like, hey, this is really preliminary. I'm still experimenting. It's got promise. Like, I was not saying that that deck was, like, ready for big time or anything like that. And it's still not. Like, what I have, my current build, I'm actually running, and it's still not, like, ready for prime time. It's in the box here. And so I'm still experimenting for a while, right? So anyways, like, I'm curious to see where that's actually going to land out. But now, like, everyone's taking their positions. Like, some people are like, it's a great card, and some people are like, it's terrible and stuff like that. So it's interesting to see this interaction. And in terms of Dan, he just doesn't like it. And I don't know why he dislikes it so much, but I know he's got some. So I don't know. Now, there was another question. That was, let's see. The next question was, have I been brewing any new old school decks recently? That was by Old School Chris C. Yes, I have been. But I do have to say, though, you know, like you guys who've been following my channel know, I just moved from Houston to Orlando. We've only been in this house for like 2 months. So most of my time has been like moving, getting used to the new job, unpacking boxes. And before I moved here, I was putting a ton of work into renovating our Texas house before we sold it. So that's been hard. But I'm almost done with that transition. I'm starting to brew again. What I've got next on my plate is I want to go do a mid-level deck series. I did the budget ones, and I want to do mid-level, like not Power 9 and crazy expensive cards, but like dual lands and some other stuff. And what I might do is I might take the budget decks and upgrade them and show how they upgrade, or I might just set those aside and just start with like 2-3 color decks with dual lands and some not too expensive cards and shoot for that for old school and shoot for things that are as competitive as possible in the mid-range expense, right? That's what I'm planning to brew next. In the meantime, I'm just doing a little bit with this Charizard thing, and we're going to see where that actually goes. So, let's scroll down here. When Bob Dole says, when will old school be a format on MTGO? You know, Bob, I'm actually not the guy to ask about that. I completely avoided MTGO, and just like I'm avoiding all Arena and all the other formats of it, because like I hated the thought of having to rebuy all the same cards I already owned again. And I also hated that I didn't have control over them because I didn't completely trust Wizards of the Coast on what they were doing with it. And it's not even so much at that time, it wasn't because of anything with Wizards. It was more about, I just didn't really like the thought of putting a ton of money into owning something that's completely owned and managed by someone else, like on a server somewhere else. I don't really like that thought. So I avoided MTGO, and so I actually don't really know when people are going to do more support of it, but I know that, you know, Randy Bueller does the Vintage Super League, and they do lots of vintage games and stuff on it, but yeah, I'd have to see how that actually goes. So Brandon said, just started watching your videos today. Started with the market crash projection. Yeah, so Brandon, I'm very into finance. That's a huge side topic of mine. That's a hobby that I get into. And I got real deep into it ever since 2008. And I've been reading books and everything. And you guys might not have noticed. There's that. Did anyone see that? That book? So that's a hint. I mean, that's just, you got to study financial history, and everyone's got their own favorite investment. But what I like is when you get to people that are very passionate about their investments, they've already done a lot of research, and you can basically learn from them an awful lot. So Windows, me, Edwin, my wife left me and took the kids. Ouch. But Magic keeps me happy, and the community helps so much. Keep it up. Windows, me. Wow, I'm sorry. That's harsh, bro. Yeah, surround yourself with good friends, man. Just pull in all the good people that'll lift you up, bring those people in, and all the negative people, just shove them out, man. Sorry to hear about that. So I see a lot of discussion about that now. Oh, my aunt says, you're right, I have no idea what you're talking about, but I love to see your passion. So Paul's asking, what do I think about Card Titan and others allowing any printed version of an old school legal card to be used in their formats? I personally, aesthetically, I like the older art. I don't feel a passionate need to keep people out because they don't have the older art. Although I really do appreciate having that older art. I'd almost at times rather see people play a proxy than use like a newer version of that card just because I like that art so much. But I'm not the kind of guy that wants to impose my views upon other people. I'll tell you what I think. I've got an opinion about things. But I don't really like telling other people how to have their own fun. And in terms of a format, I like more people joining, not less. So in general, I'd probably lean towards let other people in. But of course, I love seeing the older cards. So Dan wants me to do some Bernardo impressions, maybe at some point. I don't know if everybody wants that. And Tom says, holy Batman, it's Edwin the Magic Engineer. Oh my gosh, it's Tom! Hi, Tom. So, oh yeah, so Adam says you can buy dual lands for $1 on Magic the Gathering Online. Yeah. What's my chess rating? Tristan, are you asking me what my chess rating is? I play chess. I enjoy chess. I've never been rated in chess at any point, so I don't have a chess rating. Although Paul Mueller in this chat stream, I think, is very good at chess. He probably has a rating. When I hit the desk. So what's happening is, so JJ's talking about how when I hit the desk, you hear a ringing sound. The microphone that's mounted up here actually is mounted through this metal assembly all the way down to the desk, and I need to find a good way to acoustically separate it from actually like coming up and making sound like every time the desk hits, because the vibration rings up through it. So I'll work on that at some point. Terry Feynman says, hi Edwin, oh my god, you do live streams now. This is the first one, so if you guys like it and this is a good fun thing for you and me, then yeah, I'll do some live streams. But again, everyone who's watching this channel, I only do this because it's fun, right? Like, the only payment I get for anything YouTube is YouTube pays people for like ad rolls, but like I don't have a Patreon. I don't ask anyone for money. I don't want any money. I already have a job. This is because it's fun and I like it. And here's one of the other animals. So that's the only reason I'm doing this. So yeah, if people like these live streams and they end up being fun, then I'll keep doing it. So Adrian says, love the finance videos. One of my least viewed videos of the federal funds rate. Okay, yeah, the federal funds rate. Like, I was really excited about some of those finance videos because it would be an understatement to say that it was like a little research that I did. Like, oh my gosh, I read books, I watched videos, I talked to people. There's a huge amount of work that went into studying finance to go in and piece it all together so I can lay those topics out as clearly as possible. And when I put that information out and like almost nobody watches it because it's got no magic cards, it was really disheartening because like it was a huge amount of study to do that. So I'm actually going to link one of those videos. But what I wanted to, for anyone who doesn't know, like the video I'm the most proud of is the one where I was showing the U.S. Treasury in the middle box, and you had the IRS on one side, and you had the expenses of government on the other side, and you had like the bond market below and the debt above. And I related it backwards to what it's like for like home personal finances, like the Jones family. I love that one because it got a concept across that was really complicated and got explained simply. And just so you guys know, like the way I laid that out, nobody showed that to me. I actually sat down and figured that out. And then once I figured that out, I double checked it against people who knew better than I did to make sure that model worked. And then I presented that, so that's what that was. And I was really sad to see that nothing happened. I see that Tristan Easton donated $2. I don't know what that means. I don't have a PayPal or Patreon or anything set up on this. I don't know where that $2 is going. So you guys, hey, you know what? If you want to donate money, I should probably pick a charity or something and tell everyone to donate there because that $2, man, I have no idea where that's going. But thanks for that. If I can find it, I'll do something good with it. Give it back to the community or something. Oh, a playmat under the mic, Chris said. Okay, you must be talking about the mic sound. So, yeah, that's a good suggestion. I was thinking about like that. Like the clamp that's on the desk here, if the clamp just had some kind of cushioning on each side, like a thick rubber or something, that could even like help even just the tiniest bit. Oh, so Terry Feynman says, I wanted to ask, does that Legends box still have packs? I still have Legends packs, but that box right here does not. That box is actually, I should go get it so I can show you guys something. So, cat's got to move. Okay, so the Legends box. Okay, so this is a special box I got from GP Vegas this last year. And you see how it's got signatures all over it? The Vintage Magic team, I don't know if there's more signatures there. Yeah, they're all right there. So the Vintage Magic team that was at GP Vegas, when we were done with the event, everybody took empty boxes and we signed them. So people got to grab any box they wanted and then sign it and then bring that home with them. And I wanted the Legends box. So, this one's empty. So unfortunately, there's no packs in it. I don't roll that large. I mean, Daniel does. Other people, but I don't. I don't have that kind of money. And there's also, there's this Vintage Legends box too, but that one's empty. These are all full. Those ones are empty. So the 2 revised Legends and this Legends and this Ixalan, those are all empty. But I like them just the same because they're just, I don't know, it's magic. And they're just so much fun with all that stuff. So let's see. So Windows Emmy and me says, I love the live streams. Keep it up. Okay. If you guys are liking this, I'll definitely keep this up. Oops, I lost my place there. Okay, there we go. Oh, the videos with RC cars. Carl. So RC cars, that's a big topic for me. The reason I'm an engineer is because of RC cars. I started those when I was like 13 years old, and my dad built my first one with me. Then I built my next one. Then I eventually started modifying them and racing them, and by the time I was 15, I was like cutting out like graphite chassis and winding my own motors, and like I knew what I wanted to do with my life. And so there's a lot of time I spent in my earlier years with RC, and I still enjoy them, but I just haven't done it much lately because I'm all involved with Magic at the moment. So if you guys want RC car videos, there's an awful lot I could say, like from a user's perspective, and I could actually, these days now, I could actually describe how they work because I've studied some of the electronics and some of the concepts that goes into the RC cars. In fact, my first micro mouse, I should show you guys this. This was my second robot that I built that would actually walk around a maze. This is an actual autonomous robot. The computer board is on the top. The sensor arrays are all on the bottom. And these are stepper motors. The wheels are all corroded. It's old. These are motors that would drive the robot through a maze. And you can see, if you can look in there, all the wire wrap that was done to, like, you know, connect all the circuits and stuff. So this is the first robot I ever built. And a lot of key learnings that came out of RC cars went into doing that stuff. And this is the last thing, I'll go back to the chat. When I first learned how a servo works in a radio control car, you know, that's the thing that turns the wheels. It's just a little motor, and it had like a little resistor divider circuit on it. And I learned how those things work, and I found out that you could actually drive them from a microcontroller just by outputting like a square wave signal with a certain duty cycle. And so if you open up the servo and you crack this little peg off, it just lets it just turn. Then you can drive it from a microprocessor, and you can have this like geared down motor you can control with the chip, and it works great. And so my first robot was built using those servos and stuff. So it was fun because it was robotics, but it was learning RC car technology as it applied there. So you guys, if you guys like RC car stuff, I could definitely go that direction. I love that stuff. Let's see. Let me go back to where I was. Sorry, you guys are chatting it up. I'm getting fallen behind here. Okay, now here I am. So Green, do I think revised non-dual land cards are undervalued? Revised non-dual land. So you're talking like disenchants and all that stuff. What about 4th edition? Looking to build a deck. So Green Gopher asked, what do I think about the valuation of revised and 4th? It's a little bit of a miss. It's hit and miss. Right now, we're in this minefield of people doing speculative buyouts. So some cards have gone up more than they should. Other cards are probably actually about where they need to go. My general feeling is that anything that's an old school primary card, like Disenchant, Lightning Bolt, Soul Ring, Demonic Tutor, Regrowth, right? I mean, the cards that are the staples, even though there is a lot of them, those are the ones that I think will have the most value, because people want them for nostalgia. They want them for investment purposes, but for the most part, they want them because they play with them, right? So I personally think the revised cards that are the most used cards are the ones I would go for first. And that's kind of what I based my Instagram on when I was predicting which cards were going to go up and not. Because I've been telling people, like, yes, there's investors and there's buyouts, but more of the growth has just been people organically playing the game, right? So if you look at like a revised card, that's like when Gia's Liege went way up, that card was ridiculous. It's a terrible card, right? I knew that was going to fall because nobody plays it. Nobody cares. Or Animate Wall, nobody cares, right? But if you say, like, you know, maybe Basalt Monolith, or you talk about a Soul Ring, or you talk about Hypnotic Spectre, yeah, good cards. Now, for their current value, I knew they were going to go up before they went up. Now, many of them have gone up. And who's to really say where that value really lays? Because the Alpha, Beta, Unlimited are super rare. But the revised 4th edition, man, there's a lot of those cards, especially when you start looking commons and uncommons. So it's tougher to say. I would say if the prices are right and you want them to play with them, I'd grab some. But it's possible they might pull back a bit, so it's tough to say. You have to be more case-by-case basis. Okay. Link it to my YouTube. Oh, so Tristan, I think you're talking about the $2. I don't know. Maybe that's what happened to it. Maybe they will link it. The $2 goes to you with your money from ads. Oh, okay. Okay, well then, well, thanks for that. You guys don't have to donate money to me. This is all for fun. I'll tell you what, if I start like hating doing this, if I start hating doing YouTube and videos and stuff, and you guys want me to stick with it, then maybe there's a reason to pay me. But right now, it's for fun. So guys, save your money for investment and stuff like that. Don't give it to me. Well, would I ever host my own Eternal tournament? Okay, Paul asked that. Oh my gosh, yes. I used to host tournaments. I used to host vintage and legacy tournaments at a local shop. And I was having trouble getting people excited and bringing them in because everyone was so like focused on like standard. They didn't want to do like older formats, and I desperately wanted to play older formats. So I did. I actually helped run tournaments in Oregon at a store called Ancient Wonders, and they were proxy tournaments because I was trying to bring people in. And this is where I got all that experience about proxies, like what works and what doesn't work. So I would love to host tournaments and set them up and be a part of it. Right now, it's only a balance of like, do I have time based on like family and work and stuff? Because right now it's like, you know, family top priority, work is next, and then all my hobbies and stuff got to go below that. But once I get moved in and things get settled, maybe, at least if I could partner with someone to do like a tournament in the Orlando area, I would totally get involved. I would love that. And actually, there's a topic I want to get to with that in a little while. So Windows Me and Me said bye. Boy, I'm way behind here. I need to stop blabbing so much. Brandon says, oh man, I remember off-road RC track. It was my parents' house. Yes, Brandon, the RC car tracks at my parents' house, absolutely, for years. Every time we would get a house or get some land, it would just, first thing I would do is build an RC car track. And so I remember you guys coming out when we were back in Chico, California still. And EverQuest, yes, I lost a lot of my life on EverQuest. I could definitely do some videos on that. Okay, every once in a while it auto scrolls and pushes it up too far. So let me get down here. Adrian says, you showed me the maze robot in one of your first videos. It's nice to see you treasuring it after the move. Oh yeah, that piece. I spent hundreds of hours working on that robot. And what you see is only half of it, because once the robot is built, then you got to program it. And that thing has 2 microprocessors. So one that does all the maze solving, the higher level functionality. The other one's driving all the hardware. And you know what? For years I've wanted to get back in and get into that code. So maybe at some point I actually will start just programming that robot again. But I'm sure after all these years it's going to have a lot of repairs that need to be done, right? Edwin, going to Eternal Weekend. Tyler says, I would love to go to Eternal Weekend and the Old School Players Ball, all those tournaments. So again, it's just, if I have the time is what it comes down to. And there's something for budget. I mean, it takes a bit of money to actually fly somewhere, but it's mostly time. If I can, absolutely I'll go to those tournaments. The only thing that's consistent right now is going to GP Vegas, because I have so many other friends that go there, and it's been such a cool way to meet up. So that's been a big one, but if that starts to suck, then maybe something else. And Jace the Deck Builder. Cool, I'm a programmer myself, so it's cool to understand. So I understand how cool it is to build something. Oh yeah, if you guys ever had a chance to get into programming and building and robotics and stuff, it's fun. But okay, most people don't think it's fun. I think it's fun. I'm nerdy enough to think that. Oh, okay, Terry says, if I miss an important question, you'll type it again. Good plan. I'm trying not to, because you guys are spending enough time to actually show up and ask me questions, so I want to actually honor you by trying to answer them, because you guys are awesome. I did this so I could meet you guys. That's the whole reason I'm sitting here. And Carl says, what do I think about unlimited dual lands? I think they'll keep going a lot or slow down. Because the Swedish rules allow alpha beta unlimited, and because there's not very many, I mean, the dual lands are rare. So you got 1,100 alphas, 3,300 betas, and like 15,500 unlimited, and like that's it, right? And then you go to revised, and you've got like, gosh, what is it, like 220,000 of each revised rare in like white border English. I mean, so the ratio is like, I mean, alpha beta unlimited is like this, and then revised even like white border English is like this, right? So there are so many less unlimited dual lands that are actually out there. I think that of course they will remain behind alpha beta, but no, I think their value could actually keep going up, because those are the originals and they're special for a certain format that people really like. I don't own any of them, by the way. I'm all revised dual lands. Yes, Terry, 4th edition cards is fantastic for getting into 93, 94. If some of you haven't seen, like when I did my, I should make my chair taller here. When I did my Instagram channel, and I was talking about which cards to buy, like way back at the beginning. Even actually my YouTube videos, I've been telling people for a while, like, go get 93, 94 cards. Like, for all of you that didn't, I'm sorry. You missed the boat to some degree, but literally I've been telling people for the last like year and a half, go get these cards. Like, I would post a picture on my Instagram feed of like all these 93, 94 cards that I would go to a store and spend $50 and get like a stack like that tall of like old cards that are like 4 Shivan Dragons and 4 Ma Modi Jins and like Legends commons, Arabian Nights commons, just like a stack of cards, right, for like $50. And like now $50 would buy like 2 of them in that stack, right? So I've been trying to get people to go that direction. Yeah, 4th edition and revised is still absolutely the way to go. Absolutely. Thanks ABCDDS2. Good channel. I appreciate the comment. And Tavis King. Yeah, Tavis joined. Sorry, you've probably been here for a bit, but I just figured it out. How's it going, Tavis? Tavis is an amazing guy, you guys. Anyone who's looking at the chat stream there, I have never in all my years of Magic met someone who has more like arcane knowledge of just little facts all over the place. Tavis is incredible. Like, we text each other all the time, like a bunch of us do, in like a group text, and people will be like, I wonder what this little dot on this one corner of this card is. Tavis? Like the bat signal goes up, and he just comes in and he tells you about the print and like who did it and like just, I mean, all of this information, and all of us are like, where does this guy get this? But anyways, yeah, so Tavis is amazing, guys. Ask him to do a YouTube channel. It would be, well, if he can like talk loud enough, because he's a very quiet guy, it would be amazing. Okay, somebody said here, JJ said, do you plan going to GP Vegas next year? That is the plan. Yeah, absolutely. At least we're hoping to. That's what I'm budgeting for and making time allocation for. Am I going to play old school matches if we don't go? Yes. Okay, so this next year at GP Vegas, as far as I know, Daniel Chang is not doing a booth, so I'm not going to be there like volunteering and helping him at his booth, which means if I go, it's just going to be like hang out and meet people. And what I want to do more than anything is literally just play games with people. I want to play vintage, legacy, old school, EDH, traditional EDH, by the way, you know, with just fun cards. Don't just try to kill everyone quickly. Have fun with it, right? Absolutely, I want to play games the whole time and eat terrible food. That's the plan. Absolutely. 9 Dimes says, hi, Edwin. Hi, 9 Dimes. And Terry believes 4th will keep rising. Yep, yeah, I agree. For the most part, I agree. Tavis says, hello, everyone. And Windows ME is still here. What do I think about the Tabernacle price spike? You know, Tabernacle's funny. I've owned several of them over the years. The first ones I bought, I literally bought and sold them at like $30 to $50 of value. And for a long time, I remember looking at the card thinking, like, this card is so unique. Why is its value not higher? And then years later, all I had was an Italian, and then the price went up to like 400, and I sold that one thinking like, wow, I know, finally that price went up. I didn't think Magic was going to go much higher at that point. Now the price is way high, and I don't know if you guys know, I just recently bought 2 Tabernacles, and I paid $1,800 for one and $1,850 for the other one, and I'm pretty happy with the quality that they were at too. They're both like somewhere around high LP, low near mint, but oh my gosh, yeah, the price is insane. So it is a Legends rare. It's the most expensive card in the set, and I think that the reason for that is honestly, like, of course there's investors buying it and shoving the price up. For sure, that's there. But then at the same time, it's one of those few cards that's expensive in old school and legacy and vintage, but then it crosses over, sorry, old school and vintage, but it crossed over to legacy as well. And I think that's the trick, is that since people play it in legacy, and there's a lot more people in legacy, and there's a famous deck in legacy that people actually want to play, I think that was really the key of what shoved Tabernacle so high. So, and believe me, I paid the price too. I mean, it was a lot of cash that I dumped to get that thing. So Tavis said, when I heard there was going to be a live event, I was tempted to drop by and watch it in person. Tavis, that would have been awesome. If you texted me and said you could have come by, I would have totally done that. And so now, for some of you that didn't know, I had a surprise guest that almost dropped by. So, Now you know it wasn't Tavis because he just said he would have dropped by. But I would love to have you here, Tavis. That would be fantastic. Share any updates about the robot code whenever the time comes. It'd be great to hear about it. Okay, yeah. The code I wrote for that robot, it was back in college, so it was all pick assembly to drive the lower level controller. And my coding ability back then was terrible, so like I literally just did assembly. Like I didn't even comment it and stuff. And now I look back and think, what was I thinking? In the 68,000, it was actually running C code, so that one's a bit more understandable. So what I'd actually prefer doing is like show how terrible my code was in college, and then rewrite it again now, and then show that and use that as a discussion piece. That would be interesting. So Terry, yeah, it is awesome being able to finally ask these questions directly. Well, it's cool to hear them directly. Whoop, I just scrolled and lost a bunch. I have to go back up. Oh, here we go. So Carl says, I plan on buying some dual lands because they look unlimited dual lands. Yeah, I don't think they're going to go down very much. The revised could pull back a bit, and not because dual lands aren't needed and popular. Revised could pull back a bit because there's just so much more of them. I mean, there's like, if people, it would take a lot less people to decide they don't want to hold on to those and to sell them into the market to drive the price down, right? A lot less people could cause that to happen because there's just so many different in supply. So revised could pull back a bit, I think, in the short term, but it would eventually go back up. Unlimited, I think, is a much better investment for Alpha Bay. Like Dan says that all the time, and he's right. I agree. Okay. So Adrian, thanks. I'm glad you're loving the videos. And yeah, Tavis is the misprint guy. I think I might be catching up here. My daughter says, Dad, if you read my comment, I will do the unthinkable. I will give you a hug. Okay, yes, Mackenzie, give me a hug.
I've been stalking you. I've been stalking you.
Okay, she was ready for that.
I was ready.
I guess you were. Okay. Okay. So, Tavis, if you make some YouTube videos, we'll watch them. Adrian's getting into Legacy. Got a son on the way. Congrats, Adrian. It's an awesome journey, man. You're calling him Maverick, which makes me want to build a Maverick Legacy deck. That's a cool thought. The deck tech videos, Marcus. Yes, there will be more deck tech videos. Okay, so everyone, I'm sorry there has not been more deck tech videos. There's one core reason. In order to make a deck tech video, I really have to research the decks. And so, like, offline, when I'm not making content, I gotta build the deck, I gotta play test it, I gotta change it, play test it again, and then once I think I'm close to a final version, then I go through lots of testing against other decks. I mean, literally, like, I'll test, like, those budget decks, I probably pit them against, like, probably 10 different general old school decks just to see how they work. And those final little tournaments, last minute touches come in, and then I would post it. So it's a lot of work to do the deck tech videos because I really want to research it, right? The one that I researched the least and posted, I'm now regretting the most. It was that black-white Charizard deck, which, by the way, I still say has potential, right? But I've barely tested that one, and I just wanted to share with people where I was going. So I posted that video, and I said in the video towards the end that this is an experiment, and it is. It's still changing all around, right? And then some people thought I was like all serious about it, like it was like done, right? And it was not done. It's still not done. I'm still changing it. But they went off and ran and built it and started testing it, and that really wasn't my intention. That got miscommunicated. So I think if I'm going to do deck tech videos, like I'm now feeling the pain of posting something before I actually finish the research on it. So if that's going to be the reaction, I need to finish the research on it. So unfortunately, that'll slow down the deck tech videos coming up. But I don't know, maybe that's better in the long run because the quality will go up. So Marcus says, love the deck tech videos. Hopefully you get to play your old school vintage. Okay, that would be lovely. I don't get to play vintage very much these days. Everybody wants to play old school, which I love. But I love my vintage deck. I don't even care if I lose with it. I want to play with it. It is fun. Yes, the Tabernacle is disgusting, and it's a fantastic card. Adrian, I agree. Oh, I just lost my place a little bit. So, I play Vintage and Windows ME and me. Can't afford Tabernacle one day. Yeah, man, it's crazy. Now, Joseph said, what are my thoughts on Fallen Star? That, I assume you mean the Legends one. You know, I've thought about that one a couple times and wanted to look at it and research it, try it a little bit. But it's like, it's this funny thing. Like, every time, like, I think, like, I need to look at that card. And then I go look at it. And then I read the text. I'm always like, it seems okay. And then, like, I put it aside and I forget about it. And then a while later, it's like, oh, Fallen Star, I want to look at it. And then I look at it again. And it's like, I keep doing this roundabout thing with it. I don't want to give too strong of an opinion on it because I haven't tested with it. I like the potential, and I want to try it first before I do too much on it, though. Vintage lands, I can't afford Tabernacle, the Fallen Star. Edwin, do you think more organizers should allow CE cards into 93-94 tournaments? Okay, Marcus. Yes. Not only would I like to see more acceptance for Collector's Edition and International Collector's Edition, I would really like to see more support for proxies. Because I've been, by the way, this is a whole issue for me, you guys. Like, I've been wanting to do, like, my magnum opus video. I want it to be well edited, well researched, and it'd be like the best gift I can attempt to give to the Magic community. I adamantly believe the solution that would fix most people's frustrations is proxies. Because I think proxies would allow people to come into the format, and it would give players their chance to play with those cards that they've been desperately missing, not able to do. And I actually also think the collectors, they always fear proxies because they don't want their values to drop. I don't think they would. What I experience with proxies is when people start playing, I mean, you get to play, but then when you play, you get passionate. When you get passionate, you want the cards. And then when you go buy cards, the proxies brought you in, but now everyone's buying cards, and so the values start going up. So the proxy use has let people play, and it's made card prices go up, which fixes two of the biggest problems I hear about. And the only reason I hear people pushing back against it is because they just don't, they've never done that, or they assume what proxies would do. They've maybe play tested with it a little bit, but they haven't. I honestly think it would go much better than everyone's thinking. That I think proxies would be the actual fix that the Magic community desperately needs. And so I evangelize it every chance I get. And now that I've got a platform and people are actually listening, hi everybody, I'm going to keep doing that. I'm going to keep evangelizing it. I want people to play games. I don't want people to be kept out. And at the same time, I want those collection values to go up because it's fun and cool to collect, right? So yeah, it's the best solution I possibly know about. So yeah, CE and IE for old school tournaments and proxies, absolutely. I might have lost my place. Okay, here we go. G-Dog, Lost with It. Love the material. Keep it up. Good work. Thank you, man. Great idea for the code video. I don't know how many people would log in for a code video, but for like programming code is what I think is what he's referring to. Hey, someone from Argentina. How's it going, Stan? Stan McCubrish. Yeah, good to see you. Or on chat, anyways. Glad you joined. So Terry says, I find it so hilarious with the alpha beta lands back when I started around the dark. I pimped out my decks with basic beta lands, even though everyone thought it was crazy. So yeah, me too, man. I have been buying alpha beta basic lands ever since I learned that alpha beta was a thing. And I've always believed that they were eventually going to go up because way back then, the colors were so deep and rich. And even back then, they were rare, but now they're like much more rare. It actually was a frustration I had for a long time that the card values for alpha beta basic lands didn't go up, but I knew what the core reason was. The core reason was that people weren't actively seeking them out because Wizards kept making these new basic lands and everyone thought it was all these newer lands were cool, which they were, right? But the desire wasn't there. But old school brought back in all that nostalgia. It created that missing fire. You know, I look at it like a big pile of kindling that had gasoline on it. It was just waiting to get lit. And then finally some people, the community started saying, wow, these alpha beta basic lands are cool. And then just It just lit, and now it's like it's going, right? This thing I've been waiting for years is finally there. Today everybody does that. Oh yeah, the basic lands, yep. So Tristan gave me $2 to hug my daughter. Mackenzie! Yeah? Somebody paid $2 for me to give you a hug.
Okay, I will enjoy this again. This is my job to hug you. This is the daughter's job. Oh god, you're attacking me now.
Okay, there we go. I'm gonna have to put Tristan's money towards like a good cause or something like that. Maybe just give it to my daughter. I don't know. Okay. Okay, she's gonna see that when she's older. Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, she's my wife and daughter, the lights in my life for sure. Oh my, there's been a lot of questions. I need to get caught up here. Question about my video creating process. Do I have like a specific process to organize video ideas? Do I write them down? You know, that's a real ebb and flow kind of process, but I'm glad you asked that because I do actually have something I'm going with. My goal for this channel is I didn't want my content to be something that was it was like that was going to expire in value. Most of the time when I make a video, I try to make it on a topic that people are going to want to come back to and see again, right? And that's actually one of the reasons why I'm trying to push my quality forward, because it's painful to go back and look at the old videos. But like there's a ton of YouTubers out there that talk about the daily comments, you know, the latest news. I specifically don't. I intentionally stay away from that. And that's to some degree to my detriment because, you know, you get a lot of views. If I was to get on there and be like, you know, Joe's a jerk or something like that, then it would just be like all kinds of subscribers. But I'm not about that. I'm not doing this for money. I'm not doing this for subscribers. So based on that, I don't want to get involved in a bunch of arguments. What I want to do is make my best attempt to add something to the world, to add something to the community. So every video that I do, I try to look at it like, how can I say something that's going to be useful even like a couple years from now? So when people discover my videos, they're actually going to have a desire to go back and look at the others and maybe get something out of it. And so what I'm generally doing is, like, as I'm doing my own exploration into finance or topics, when something occurs to me and I think that would be an interesting topic, I try to figure out how I can package it up as something people will actually want to hear about. And then I'll kind of storyboard out, you know, what I want to talk about. You guys might notice in some of my videos, I'll have like a whiteboard on the side and I'll talk and then I'll look and have to be like, oh yeah, that was the next topic. So that's kind of what I do. I have a goal, what I'm going for. I just want all the videos in my list to be useful for watching and to be good unto themselves. I don't want to create garbage that's like the news, right? And that's actually why, like, I don't produce videos as often, right? I don't want to just record something and throw it up, right? I want to do something quality. Okay, do I have an opinion about Gay as Cradle? The crazy chess player is asking. Compared to older sets, there must be quite a few printed. You know, Gay as Cradle, I don't own any right now. I've always wanted it. Well, no, I own some in college. That collection I sold in college. But right now I don't own any. Every single time I look at that card and think, I really want to buy some. And then I get close to it. I get the money all set. And then I go to buy it. And it's like, I went up again. And then I just, oh, sorry, I'm probably making noise on the microphone. Then the price has gone up, and then I just don't, and it's really, I keep going back and forth with it, and so now, but then the price keeps going up because it's a very good card. It's huge in Legacy, especially for elves and stuff, and so the value has gone up, and I would love to own them. I can't honestly say if I think the price is a little overinflated or not. There is an awful lot of them. And the reason why I've always been curious is I look at Tolarian Academy. And, like, I own 2 Tolarian Academies. I love that card. It's the one where you tap for a blue and you get a blue for every artifact. Like, I've abused that one for years. I love that card. And it's been like $20 for so long. In the meantime, now it's like 50. But now the Gia's Cradle is like 400, right? It's just... It hadn't made a lot of sense to me for a long time why those were so off. Other than, of course, the obvious fact that you play multiples of them in Legacy, which is a more popular, wider attendance event, and then Tolarian Academy tends to only be played in Vintage and EDH and stuff. But still, it's like, It's tough for me to say if I think that Gay's Cradle is properly priced or not, but I would definitely like to have some at some point. How much do the Power 9 go for as a collection? I haven't checked in the last couple of months, Adrian said. You know, they keep going up. I was telling people about 6 months ago, like, the Power 9 is undervalued. Go get them. But then since I was saying that, like, the price shot up again. And so at this point, I honestly, you guys, I feel like a lot of those, like, you know, the unlimited revised dual lands, I think they've gone up a lot. They're probably just going to plateau a bit. Is kind of my feeling. The alpha beta, especially the real old like 9s and 10s graded ones, yeah, those are just going through the roof still. But the ones that are more common, like, you know, like just unlimited LP quality power, I think they're probably going to plateau. The last time I looked, I saw some going for around $3,000 or $4,000 for a piece. So I think the reason why I thought they were going to go up, that's pretty interesting for you guys. And this is going to be a finance thing, so I'm probably going to get behind in the chat here, but I got to say this because I think it's really important. When you study the US dollar, you learn that inflation destroys the value of currency. You learn that pricing things and how many dollars buy this thing or another thing ends up being a terrible way to do it. Because if inflation is 2% 1 year, and 10% the next year, then 2% again, it's like your ruler, your measuring stick does this, right? And your ruler ends up being a terrible measuring stick for value. And what you learn in finance when you study inflation and you study the Fed and stuff, you learn that what we should really do is price things in one asset versus another. How many barrels of oil buys a house, right? How many gold coins buys a barrel of oil? How many pounds of fresh meat would pay for that bucket of bullets? Like, it's relative values between things is what you learn is like a better way to measure things, right? Because these asset prices, if you go one asset versus another, you can eliminate the cause of inflation. So taking that theory, move it over to Magic the Gathering, and you look at something like Llanowar Elves. Like Llanowar Elves, for the longest time, it's just cheap little common. There's nothing to it. Like when I first started playing Magic, Moxes are like $150 a piece, and a beta Llanowar Elves, yeah, maybe $2. You know, a revised one or 4th edition, 10 cents, right? There was nothing to it. But the point is, if you look at like how many like beta Llanowar Elves would it take to equal like, you know, a Black Lotus or like a, say, a Mox Sapphire. It was like a $150 Mox Sapphire and $2 for each beta Llanowar Elf. That's like 75 beta Llanowar Elves equaling like a Mox Sapphire. And then recently, unlimited power went up to around like 1,500 or 1,200 per like Mox and stuff. And then the beta Llanowar Elves went up to like $100, and like up to $120. And so I was looking at the ratio between those, and I was like, okay, either those elves are overvalued, right? Or that Mox is undervalued. And I knew that the elves weren't undervalued because they were bought out. And people wanted them, and they were trying to go get them. It wasn't just a collector buyout. People really wanted them. And now the price has pulled back a little bit. But I looked at that, and I looked at the quantity of that unlimited power and thought, you know, this asset versus this asset is way off. Unlimited power is going to go up. And that's when I started telling people, and that's the reason why I said that, right? I know that was a long answer, but hopefully that made sense. I think it's a better way to look at things, valuing one asset versus another to really see their relative value. I'm probably falling way behind here. Brandon Rose says, pop out YouTube chat on a second. Okay, I have a second monitor. I haven't messed with it to try to like make it full screen. And yes, I agree that would help. Can I do that? Live chat, all this done. Can I just drag it out? Nope. Okay, Brandon, I don't know how to make the chat full screen right now, and I don't want to screw up the live stream as I'm playing with it. But yeah, I totally agree. That would be the right thing to do. Okay, Adrian, even Necropotence. Okay, so these guys are having a discussion. So Brandon says, how can using proxies be made more effective? Sharpie on a white land doesn't even leave much room for text. Okay, so Brandon, how to do proxies. I might have a really good answer for you here. See if I can find it. somewhere in here, I actually have a deck. Is it this one? Okay. I actually have a deck that's all proxies. I think this might be it. Okay, it is. So back when I was testing vintage, I actually built a deck that was nothing but proxies in it. Every single card you see in here is a proxy. Now, what do? I take an individual card, and see how this is just a sheet of paper? Nothing to it. And then this is just a typical Magic card. What I've found is if you take a card like, let me just take something else. Like here's an IC manipulator, right? Now this one is a real card, and it's actually got a double sleeve on it. So this card, it's hard to tell just by looking at it. It's a sleeve in a sleeve, right? And so the inner sleeve makes this card a little thicker. And it turns out that the weight and the thickness of a double sleeve card in a Dragon Shield is about equal to a non-double sleeve card with that little piece of paper inside of it. And so since the little piece of paper slid in equals it, if you do this to your proxies, you got a great way to actually build proxies and have them feel about the same in your actual deck. Now in terms of making these, there's a website that I'm going to link below in the video that when I go to this website, I can just search up a card and I can right click and save image and then paste it into Microsoft Paint, and I can print it and it'll print out almost the perfect size, and then I can just cut it and put it inside of a sleeve. And that's what I do for proxies. Because then you've got the text, you've got the art. It's obviously not a real card, right? I mean, it looks very different than a real. I mean, if you looked at it close, it looks terrible, right? But it's a very effective way to do proxies. So maybe I should even do a video on that. So yeah, that's how I do more effective proxies. Okay, I am lost here. Hey, I saw Uncle Morty's is in here. I'm going to get to your stuff here in a sec. Oh my gosh, I'm getting too much here. Okay, so people are discussing. Adrian says, even in old school, necropotents are ridiculously fun. There's the proxies. I got most of my beta lands out of junk boxes. Okay, that's good. Brandon Rose, Small Dark. People are answering his questions. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to catch back up here. I start going off and start talking, and then you guys lovingly just put some cool comments in. Okay, so make this place ignite. Hey, Edwin. Can't watch for long today, but I want to say I appreciate your content and insight about magic and finance. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Uncle Morty's Nerd Shed. There we go. It's Commander Band, isn't it? I don't know which card he's talking about. Hermod says, hi, Edwin. Do you buy any cards on the artwork and only that reason? You know, that's an interesting question. I would say one of the reasons I play old school is because of the artwork. Because I'm so passionate about that old original art. And I don't mean this to knock the new artists. Especially, like, I've got some of my favorite new artists. Like, I've said this, like, Jesper Icing. I even had a video of him, like, on my channel where I got to chat with him. And I love his artwork. But, you know, my actual preference is I would like to have it framed in something on the wall like that. Because there's so much detail in it, right? And I would like to get that blown up and see that great. But when you put it in this tiny little square, like in this little area, then you can't quite get it. You can't quite see it as much. So I actually kind of prefer the older hand-drawn, painted artwork for the small little tiny frames. And the beautiful art to be bigger and put on the wall. So I don't so much buy cards just because I like the artwork. I have a lot of friends who do that. But I do play old school because I'm drawn to the artwork and the nostalgia. So that's about the closest I personally come to that. So Terry says, fast bond could be huge and green. Yeah. Dan Frazier does commissions for alternate. So Dan Frazier, for anyone who doesn't know, is the guy who did the Moxes and the original artwork for him. And yeah, he's a neat guy, and he does do commissions. And if you bring cards to a show, he'll like alter them for you. And if I was gonna do it, I wouldn't necessarily want him to alter my actual Moxes. I'd probably want him to actually do like, I'd bring him like a revised dual or a revised land or something like that, and like an island, and have him put a sapphire on it or something like that. Probably what I would do. So Adrian says, you're definitely adding positivity on your channel, and it feels like you're very passionate about magic. Oh, absolutely, man. All this is because of passion, and that's the only reason I'm sitting here, right? I'm not getting hardly paid anything. I mean, YouTube, some months YouTube gives me like, you know, $50, you know, for 2 months, or for $100 for 2 months, so effectively $50 a month. And then my best month was like, I had a month at $270, but then most of the time it's like $100. I'm pennies on the dollar, man, for the amount of time I'm putting into this. I'm not really getting paid, so this is all just about passion. Okay. Cookies and ho-hos, Jeremy. If pre-modern ever becomes a thing, do you see 7th edition foils going up even higher? Oh boy, that's a big topic. I'm going to lose a lot of time here. I'm going to have to come back to that one with an actual video. I actually not only think, but I hope that people do with newer block formats what they did with old school. I would love to see players just organize themselves and define their rule set and say what their starting set is, their ending set, and just organize tournaments and stuff, and start maybe playing like, you know, Ice Age block all the way through like Visions or something like that. Do like block formats and have like, you know, tournaments for it. I would love to see that kind of thing happen. Because for most people, those cards are just sitting in boxes, man. They're worth like less than 5 cents a piece, and they're sitting in boxes. And why do we all seem to have this belief that you got to go get the newest set, go buy the newest cards? Like, I'm very glad that WotC's still in business and they're still doing stuff. But, you know, these old cards that were printed and then thrown away, those are great game pieces, you guys. You know, like that chess set that's back there. You know, that chess hasn't changed in a long time, and people still love playing it, right? You don't always have to play the same decks. I would say if you played in a format and all you ever did is net deck, man, go back to that format in like a block area. Build a deck yourself. Explore it and try it, right? And if people don't want to just reinvent like the wheel all over again, what you could do is take like Mirage block and pair it together with like Mirrodin and just put those two together and go create decks that have never existed, because that's like all you got is those two sets. Like, I would love to see that. So yeah, I hope people do things like that, and if they do, I could easily see the 7th edition foils, which are pretty rare actually, going way up in value. But it all depends on that, right? Rudy buys for artwork. Yeah, he does actually. Rudy does actually buy some cards for artwork. I think that's actually why he bought Shahrazad. What do I think about pre-modern? I know about modern. I haven't tried pre-modern. So I think modern's a cool format, but it looks like the metagame has ran itself into a corner. A friend of mine from HP named Cody Young that I was working with was showing me a deck that he was playing, and it was only like 18 lands in the deck, and like all it did was just like combo out like fast spells and use mana morphos and try to just like then just like build up a big almost like Yawgmoth's Will kind of thing, but it was with the red one. I forget what it's called. And anyways, like that's a good deck in the format, but I was looking at it like, oh my gosh, this would get destroyed in other formats, right? Because you got strip mines and wastelands, or you know, just a few counters here and there, and it's like, it seems like modern is this format that's just kind of like really pared down and gone off into a corner, and I think that's kind of sad because it's eliminated a lot of decks from being able to be played. What's the advice I would give someone who wants to buy higher end old school cards, power lands, but has to save for months just to buy one card? Okay, so Carl, that's a big question. Somebody actually asked me that in email also, and I'll try to give a quick answer so I can get to the top of the text box here for all the comments. It depends on what your goal is. If you want to just make money, if you want to be an investor, that's very different than if you want to actually be a player. There's a very different card set. If you want to be an investor, you got to go find some cards that have not yet moved, that are going to move. Find those in the highest quality ungraded version you can get. Buy them, grade them, hope they come out 9s or 10s, and then that's how you're going to get the most value. If it comes down to like you want to buy to play, then what I would do is you want to buy a huge collection. Save up as much cash as you can get. Buy a huge collection. And like just make them a big cash offer. Sell off as much as you're willing to get rid of to recoup a lot of your money. Put it back in the bank or whatever. And then start with that and then start just trading and stuff from there. That's probably how I'd recommend people start. But it's a big topic. I can't get to that quickly, and I want to get down to the bottom of the text here. So, Dan does Mock's drawing. No, there we go. Yep, he has 2 sets. JJ does. Is it time to buy reserve list at this point when the Fed rate rising? Oh my gosh. Adrian just dropped a bomb here. Is it time to buy reserve list at this point with the Fed rates rising? I'm going to give a quick answer. I personally think everything is going to get liquid if the market starts crashing. People, I do think long term will go to tangible assets, but I think in the short term people will need money to pay bills, and I think everything that's even going to be a good investment long term is going to initially drop, and then it's all going to start going back up as like the craziness settles out. So I kind of think actually if we had the Fed rates go up and a market starts pulling back, I think if you're sitting there holding cash, you might be able to scoop up some of those people that wanted to buy and hold long term that just couldn't because they needed the money to pay the rent or something. That's kind of my feeling on that. But oh boy, that's a big topic. I'd love to talk for a while about that. So Brandon Rose, yes, people need to run Magic tournament formats, not Wizards. Amen. Yes, absolutely. There's no reason why when you have these cards in hand, not MTGO, but in hand, just play with the cards, right? So what if it's an out-of-print card? Go make your own format. Organize up with a bunch of friends and go play, right? Absolutely. And Terry says, I would wait a month. Many shops are sinking their buy list prices. So yeah, Terry, like I agree. I think prices could pull back here for a little bit because a lot of people who borrowed to buy a lot of investment cards, they went way deeper than they should have, and they're over leveraged and they're gonna have to pull back a little bit. Oh, Rudy showed up. Okay, sorry, you've probably been here for a while, Rudy. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get to the bottom of this text thing. I said Shahrazad, so you showed up. Bing! Okay, so there's probably a ton of comments now that Rudy's actually in here. Oh yeah, there we go. There's the Rudy effect. It's the Rudy bump, right? I wonder if the reserve list is running out of legs in the next 12 months looking at prices. I don't think so. I think some of the oldest stuff I think is going to hold pretty strong. The much more common, like revised stuff, I think might pull back a little bit, but not long term. Eventually it'll go back up, even if it does pull back. My personal opinion. Tristan says, yeah, he's minutes behind. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Arden says 80% of the next Fed rate rise at this point, and Powell seems like an inflation hawk. So yeah, I think you guys, the Fed has made it pretty clear. You know, if it comes down to hyperinflation or going back into another huge contraction, like, you know, a deflationary environment like the Great Depression, they're not going to do that, right? The government will not let them go into Great Depression. It's going to be hyperinflation. I'm pretty sure of that. I think what will happen first, though, is there'll be a threat of deflation. And then all the bankers are going to be like, oh my God! And then they're just going to print, right? So it'll be a short-term deflation and then a big, like hyperinflation. That's my personal take on what's going to happen. It's all about timing in that case. Roger says, keep up the good work. Might be putting much more effort and time in now with the hedge of it being your passion. You like doing it, however, you have quality content. Your passion will lead you to monetization. Maybe. We'll see, because right now, I mean, my career as an engineer is going pretty well. I wish, by the way, I could tell you guys what I was working on, but I can't. But I could have at Intel or HP. Can't hear, though. But yeah, the career's going well. But who knows? Maybe this magic thing will lead to something other than just being fun. Edwin, do you find large collections? No, I wish I should spend more time doing that, because I've bought some large collections and used that to boost mine. The biggest one I did was one of my first videos before I was like Edwin the Magic Engineer. I bought this set of beta that was like one of every common and uncommon, and then all these rares and stuff. And I posted that video like around August of 2016. And so yeah, I've taken my own advice. I've bought big collections. Lately I haven't, but I just went through a home move and we've been dumping huge amounts of money on house things. So at some point, maybe I'll start doing that again because I feel like I'm really missing some good deals here. He also said trying to buy collections on Facebook groups do not work. They all want TCG card prices. I've tried Craigslist. Any advice? The best thing I could say is if the Facebook groups are like the market there is not quite where it should be, I would just put the word out that you're ready to buy collections. You'll go this much over buy list prices, and just get that word out on Facebook and with friends and stuff, and just see if deals come to you. That's the best I can suggest. You know, Rudy's now in the comments. He might have more suggestions than I would, because he's obviously much better at this than I am for buying collections. So, Fidian said, Star City Games open at 10K viewers while a limited group is at 5K. And, oh, Brandon saying hi to Rudy. Hi, Rudy. Am I almost caught up? Bunch of commons and uncommons. How do I go about creating decks from such a huge amount of variety? Okay, that's a good question. Lately, I said this at the start of the video, when I've been first building old school decks, like when I was trying to go top tier decks, I've been looking for places where old school is now different today than it was years ago. Because, like, Mana Drain used to be 4 of, right? Black Vice was restricted. Charizard was banned, right? I mean, Berserk was only like 1 of for a long time. So the first places I went is places where there was a big difference in the format, and I knew it didn't get explored a lot because it couldn't have. So I tried to work with that. What I try to do now, since people are now exploring the fringes of the format and they're exploring the new changes, today I'm watching the metagame a bit more because I'm starting to notice that the metagame shifts, right? People will play like an awful lot of the deck, or then they'll play like an awful lot of like weenie type decks, like, you know, white blue or blue red, or like, you know, small creature quick decks. And then now there's been a transition recently when Randy Buehler kind of kicked off this enchantment thing. Now people are playing a lot of enchantments, right? A lot of Abyss, a lot of Blood Moon and stuff. So I'm trying to watch the meta to determine what to actually play. And in terms of exploring something new, that's getting difficult, actually. It's one of the reasons why I'm doing Shahrazad, because it's a mostly unexplored card. Okay. Card shops, uncommons. Okay, so Terry says, have I thought about playing Pauper then? Okay, so absolutely. I not only thought about it, I did play Pauper like 12 years ago or something like that. And I've loved it. Pauper is an amazing format. It's fantastic. When I build decks and play Pauper, it feels like original Magic, where it's like it's totally unexplored. There's like no net decking that was like, at least when I was doing it back then, there was no net decking. I didn't really know like what cards were good because all these rares and uncommons that were already good are removed. So now these terrible commons bubble up in power. I loved that about Pauper. So I think it's a fantastic format. At some point, I might actually switch over to Pauper and play it a bunch because I am passionate about it. But at the moment, I'm really enjoying old school and vintage, and I wanted to like flesh out my collections there before the prices go too insane, and because I don't want to miss that boat, right? So yeah, I might switch here at some point. Oh, where was the Pauper comment? Okay, here we go. Rudy for president. Rudy only pumps, never dumps. Let's see. So Tristan says, get some sleep. yeah, I should go get some sleep. This has been going. How long have I been streaming here for a while? Oh, an hour and 30 minutes. Oh my gosh, you guys are still here too. This is crazy. My daughter's probably gone to bed now. Okay, guys. Let me see if I scroll down at the bottom. Okay, I'm only a few questions away from the bottom. I'm going to try to go quick and then maybe close this up. This has been great, though, so far. Chris, people are talking. I agree with Dylan. Craigslist full of people wanting to dump. Popper. Oh, Popper is a format where you can only play commons effectively. So it's been around for a while, but it's a fantastic format. So research it's Pauper is how they spell it, actually. Edwin, what are your thoughts? Okay, I'm at the bottom here too. What are your thoughts regarding the recent Card Titan announcement regarding collector's edition cards being legal in Eternal Weekend? I thought I answered this actually above. So maybe it's someone else that asked. I think it's fantastic that they're allowing collector's edition and international edition cards, and I hope they not only, like, everybody does that, but I hope they start supporting proxies as well. So Paul says, Haagen-Dazs, ETMA live stream. My fantasy football team won this week. Great way to close out a Sunday. Okay, guys, I made it to the bottom of the chat box. Unless anyone's got any last-minute comments, I think I'm probably going to call it here because it's like an hour and a half. Hey, Rudy, are you still out there? Tell me if you're out there. Just say, hey, yes, I made it to the end of the video. So, thanks everyone for calling in. For those who missed it at the beginning, this was what was in the package. It's this amazing deck box that is made out of, let's see, cherry, walnut, zebra wood, wenge, and purple heart. And it's got a little dice tray here that slides out. And, oops, where's the camera? And then you can see it's this real nice wood. It's a great finish. It's got magnets up top. And this was made by Nicola Pelos. And he's going to have a Facebook website called Mishra's Workshop that he's going to sell some of these deck boxes on. So this was what the secret package was, the mystery package. So let's see. Yeah, Rudy's busy eating tacos. Okay, so thanks everybody for tuning in. And this has been a lot of fun. So I'm going to check out now. So if I can figure out how to close this thing properly.